Aloha! Zero Waste Worm Ohana, folks. Hi, Miss Mindy here, and we've all got a worm bin set up, all 50 families from our 5 zero waste schools. And I set up one too, so I could do it along with you. And we're going to do the second feeding. Everybody did a real good job with their bedding. I saw some wonderful photos of the worms in kids' hands. I'm really glad you guys all got a chance to hold your wormies. And shredding up the newspaper and putting it in and watering. I saw you doing all the steps, and I'm really, really pleased. So let me tell you about my little worm bin I've got going here. And today we'll do the second feeding. Some of you have already done it. You kind of figured out what to do on your own. But just to double check, let's take a look at my bin, and I'll do the second feeding with you, okay? Anyway, here's where I put my bin. Outside the library in a really shady place. It's up on cement with lots of drainage area underneath, and I just hose the drips right into our landscaping there. So that's real handy and nice for the landscaping too, to get a little extra water. So I take off the bin blanket. Let's see what's been going on this week. Well, okay, looks okay. Let me check on the side that I fed last week and see how they're doing. Well, there's still a bunch of banana peels left. That's to be expected. It takes a couple weeks for these to break down. I don't see any wormies on the surface. Let me dig down a little. Oh, there's some. There's a few wormies. Let me dig some out. Yep, they're down there. They're in the bottom, starting to get into the stuff that's starting to break down. Can you see them? Just a few wormies have started to get into this. It's going to be a few weeks before our food material breaks down enough to attract the worms. So they're still crawling all over the place, exploring their box, in and out of their cardboard bedding. But a few of them have come up to feed. So we're going to see more and more of that happen. And we're just going to let our food rot here and our decomposer ecosystem get established. So that's what's going on right now. Most of this is too small for you to see. It's microscopic. Bacteria, fungi, other little bugs, all starting to break down the food. And it takes probably 4 feedings. It's going to take about a month before you really get to see some exciting feeding. So we just have to be real patient and expect the process is going to work as it should, because this process has been going on for as long as the earth has been full of life. So we'll just let that side go. It's not finished yet, but it's on its way. And we'll look at this fresh side that we haven't put any food into yet. And here we go. And yep, there's some wormies squirming around down here, exploring their bedding. Yeah, they're fine. It feels nice and moist. It feels nice and comfy. So let's add some food. We kind of agreed we'd go for 3 pounds. Some of you put in a little less, a little more. It's okay. But in any case, I'm going with 3 pounds. We're going to be very conservative getting started. And then as our worm bin just ramps up, we'll be able to add more. So I measured out 3 pounds with my old scale. And here it is. Looks good, right? What do we have for our menu today? We have some apple core, some banana, always appreciated, carrots, some melon rind, some salady stuff, some soybeans. Oh, that's some good stuff, a little broccoli. Looks good. Okay, I'm going to just dump it on the surface. Second feeding, here we come. I'm going to wash that out a little bit. Excuse me, Augusta. Let's wash out all the good juices. Yeah, don't want any little crumb of second feeding to go to waste. Going to water it down a little bit. Oh, let me break up that big broccoli. There we go. Okay, that looks pretty darn good. I spread it out evenly. I'm going to put the paper cover, the old paper cover, back on. And you know, just because they're not grinding hard yet, they didn't eat much of this paper, but I peeked in so many times, you know, peeking in, and I bet you did too, right? Yup, every day you peeked in to see how they were doing, me too, that some of the paper disintegrated a bit, so I'm just going to add a little. Some people had some fruit fly problems, and the best thing to do if you've got some fruit flies is just add a little paper to the top and thicken that paper layer. That'll kind of keep the odor. Whoops, that didn't get shredded very well, did it? There we go. You want to make sure that fluffy, fluffy paper, all those little air pockets, kind of are insulation against any odors that might come up from the worm bin. So a good fluffy paper is good. Now I'm just going to water it down a little. Woo! Then put my bin blanket on. And then I'm going to water it a lot. Because as you know, it's really important to flush this bed every single day. So here we go. I water and water and water and water and water till I know I've really flushed the bed and I see it dripping out the bottom. So I know I'm good. Oh, and by the way, in some of your photos, I noticed you didn't have a nozzle on your hose. A nozzle is a really good tool to have, and I suggest you go pick one up at Hardware Hawaii. I really like these with the multiple spray choices, because you'll use it for a lot of different things. So a nozzle is very, very handy and just makes it easier to care for your worms, and you waste less water this way. You know, during this period while we're ramping up with this decomposer ecosystem, there's a bunch of things going on, and they might disturb you because you just weren't expecting them. Things like mold, little mushrooms getting in there, some fruit flies buzzing around. Maybe the fruit flies did sneak in and lay their eggs, and you got a few maggots in there. Listen, you guys, just ignore all that stuff. This is all just the decomposer ecosystem getting established, and in the beginning there's all kinds of stuff going on, but within a few weeks it'll all settle down. So just don't worry, relax, everything's fine. Whatever happens, it's okay. The worms know what to do, and you've made them comfortable, you give them plenty of food, and just let the rest of the ecosystem come in and get established. Don't panic, it's fine. Just water your worms every day, peek in, make sure they're okay, and just let them be. So remember, after you've done your second feeding, don't forget to whip out your phone and log in to the Zero Waste Worm Ohana website and put your 3 pounds or 5 pounds or whatever you gave them in there so we can watch our numbers grow. So I'm going to kind of clean up my little area here. I'm going to hose down everything into the landscaping, and that's it. We did our first feeding, we did our second feeding, and our worm colony is on its way to greatness. So be patient, it's going to take a few weeks before it really gets to be fun, and in the meantime we'll talk about some other things. Thanks so much, see you again soon. Aloha!